My job today is very simple. You see most of una when they attack Rufai Oseni of Arise TV and the whole Arise TV crew. Now, I want follow talk today. Why you be say inside this country, if person they do good, una go the bad mouth am, they talk rubbish, they talk some kind things wey no make sense. Why? Because the person decides say, look, oh, I want to be on the side of the truth. People go come out, they talk, say Rufai is biased. Channels, not be channels. Arise TV is biased. Why? Because they are being objective in their own kind of journalism. Abi, no wahala. No wonder Ayo Fayoshe enter there. As he reached there, you waiting remain for to come out from the TV, start to the punch Rufai Oseni. Why? Because him asks one simple question. Obeni, when you wanted to become governor of Ekiti State, you were recorded. Yes, you were recorded hatching a plan to rig election. How far now? How far? Explain. My guy provoke. Yeah, you are attacking my personality. I will not take it from you. Hey, this, that. Simple question where they ask you, if you answer. Now their type now and their supporters will come out and talk say Rufai is not being objective. Rufai and Arise TV are biased. They are playing partisan journalism. Simple question. No wahala. The same Arise. Now Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, enter. They ask him some kind question where we say normally him supposed to even provoke. If na say mood they provoke, na say they dig up things where they don't talk about. Mood they provoke. They ask him so many things where they the public space where people just they talk about the man. Say Panama newspaper, they say you they move money anyhow, money laundering. They say they pay tax, they say you thief money. All those kind of talk with full public space where people just they talk about the man. They ask him. You don't provoke. He relax, calm down, melembe. Then small, finish up the questions. Clear himself. You know, say if person they talk through, you go know. Who they talk through, you go know. Who they lie, you go know. So I go play the video for you. We go say as he take Makana Peter Obi the questions. Him no waste time. He answer them intelligently. You say if they ever hear the answer, you go know say yes, this man they talk to. The video I want for you, he long go. So relax. I want you to learn something from this video. Relax. Not be to come they listen to all those people they talk say Arise TV, Oseni and their crew, this one, that one, they are playing partisan journalism. Relax and see what they did to Peter Obi. Relax. The questions you go to hear them as him they answer the questions. I'm gonna watch.
Good morning, Mr. Obi, and thank you for coming on the morning show.
Good morning for inviting me. And good morning to the viewers.
Well, the obvious question to ask is, are you guilty as charged? Because you were named in the latest scandal, Pandora Papers, as one of those involved in setting up a secret company for the purpose of money laundering, illegal purchase of properties overseas, while you were in office as governor of Anambra State.
Well, thank you. Number one is that I'm not guilty. Charged. Trust company is a legitimate vehicle used everywhere globally for investment, savings, and estate planning purposes. It's allowed by law everywhere. In my particular case and that of my family, it was done on very valuable advice of our then bankers, Lloyds TSB. This is what they did to all their international clients who operated at the time I lived in the UK. They will help you to see that you formulate a trust company offshore, and that is what we did. This company was never used to launder money before, during, and after till date. So it wasn't used anytime I was in office for anything. 2, it was never used to buy property before I went into office, during the time I was in office, and after the time I was in office. It was strictly a trust company that savings and family planning that was strictly used to support our borrowings, which we even invested in this country. And they are facts, they're not things that you can, that's it.
Right.
So,
well, according to confidential information, you have about $500 million squirreled away in the British Virgin Islands and in Switzerland. Can this amount be described as legitimate earnings?
well, I wish, I don't think I would even be here if I had that type of money. But let me tell you, when people bandy money or talk about money and size of money here, it's because we're not a productive country. People don't work for their money. So we find it difficult to understand value of money. And I'll take time to explain this to you. Globally today, the world population is 7,750,000,000, out of which only 37.5 million is worth $1 million. That is 0.05%. Only 3 million, which is 0.04%, is worth 10 million. And only 300,000 is worth $25 million, which is 0.004%. So when people call these figures, it's alarming because of the fact that we live in a country where people make money they don't need and everything. If you go anywhere near this company being mentioned, its accounts, everything globally, and find more than about 3% of the value you mentioned now, 3%, I'm talking about $15 million, out of which 70% is supporting a loan of investment in this country, then confiscate everything. Even confiscate everything I have in my life. If you go to this, do you know what $500 million is? $500 billion today in Nigeria is almost 300 billion naira. My entire earning while I was governor, Anambra State received, was under 500 billion, out of which I say 15%, 75 billion. That is, you're talking about, I don't know where people call figures here, and that's why people try to make money they don't need. What do you need that type of money for? Why do you have to do that? The money, the trust company is there. And one of the challenges I'm going to throw today is to ask you and some other people to select 1, 2, 3, 4 persons that have foot their bill to follow the trail of this company to where it is today. And see the formation, who gave the advice, how we came to it and everything. Please, there's nothing, you wouldn't even find 5% of that, of what the figure you called anywhere. If I have $500 million, well, I don't know what I would be doing. You would have seen me building, you know how many schools and institutions I support. I've been building universities all over the place.
Let's talk about Next International UK. They said you didn't resign as the director, of Next, and 14 months after you became the governor, you were still director of Next. Tell us about this Next International company.
Let me tell you. Let me start. Next International we had a company in Nigeria called Next International Nigeria Limited. It's an offshoot of Next International Nigeria. That was Next International UK, which I run as managing director and everything. This company is a UK-based company. It's a brand management company that we're representative of companies like Heinz, a number of multinational companies in West Africa, and I was the CEO. And it's good that I tell you the background of how I became governor. I was living in the UK, operating in Nigeria. I declared the governor winner of the election on Thursday, 16th of March 2006. On that day, I was presiding over Fidelity Bank board meeting as the chairman. And I have members, you can ask this. One of the members is somebody you value a lot, Bismarck Rwani. He was a member of the board. Leighton Dubiskema was a member of the board. Jara Magoro was a former Ondo chairman, was a member of I was the chairman. I was presiding over a board meeting, and suddenly Leighton Dubiskema said, "Stop, Mr. Chairman." I said, "What?" He said, "You've been declared the governor of Anambra State." That was on a board meeting. And that was how the meeting stopped. From there, I called, and they said, "You have to proceed to Abuja to meet INEC to give you certificate of return." So I left board meeting, went to the airport, got the next flight, went to Abuja. By 6 p.m. that day, they gave me certificate of return. And I said to them, "I want to go back to Lagos the next day to bring my clothes, just clothes, to bring a few things so I can go to Oka for this way." They said, "No. That please, you need to proceed to Oka immediately because the then governor, Dr. Chris Ngige, because of his circumstances, have left the country." Then the guy was declared, he lost his immunity, so he left through the borders and left out of the country. So there was no government in Anambra State. So that's how the next morning I moved to Oka. Arrived Oka, just took a flight to Enugu. Arrived Oka. As I arrived Oka, they took me to the chief judge in his small space. He said, "These are forms for you to fill to declare your access." I filled that form about 30 minutes, whatever I could remember. The next thing I was sworn in as governor. When I finished the swearing in, I asked, "Okay, so I'm now sworn in. Where does the governor live?" They say, because that time the governor's lodge was burnt down. The office. I said, "Where is the governor? Does the governor live?" They said, "There's no house." "Where is his office?" "There's no office." So what do I do? Any paper, anything, nothing. I managed to get across to somebody who got across to Chris, who said, "There's nothing." So I moved to my village. And that was where I stayed there. That was the government. From there, I phoned every company. Let me start with Next International UK. Next International UK, just to show you, I brought this and I keep it with you people. Next International UK is a company that is, as at that date, I'm telling you, received overdraft from Lloyds Bank of over $7 million. This is a trading company. As at that day, I have over 200 containers on the sea and everything. And I've just been announced governor, and here I'm running a company. So the only thing I could do is to phone my wife and said, because she works with me, everybody knows in the company, I'm the CEO, she's my deputy with other. I said, "You take charge. I will never come to London again. See what has happened to me." And I was chairman and director of about 11 companies, even in Nigeria. I phoned all of them, said, "I've resigned." From that day that I went to Oka until I was impeached in November, I never left Oka. Not one day. I resigned. And I wonder what, even at times, I even wonder, why is there an issue 15 years after I was supposed to resign?
So did you
resign
the needful
completely?
From and did you also put Next in your form? Did you, the asset declaration form, did you declare Next in there and all?
When they talk about the declaration of forms, again I said, what I declared, when you talk about declaration, I just told you a story now that this company is owned by Next Nigeria. Because at times they say, "Oh, you didn't declare." I said, "No, I didn't declare one. Assets with people. I didn't declare some assets because those assets have been declared somewhere. So if I declare Next Nigeria that I own 5%, I don't have to declare another interest that Next Nigeria owns. Just like they want to say, and I didn't declare something because they were subject of things that were bought from borrowed money. If you borrow money from me and buy this suit, when they ask the owner, you have to put remark that you're owing somebody because it's not your suit. I can come to collect it tomorrow. So what I tell people is that I declare things that belong to Mr. Peter Obi. Not even Peter Obi and wife and children. No, because I can tell you, I don't know how other people operate. In my house, my wife will always remind me that this thing belongs to me. It's not your own, no. And my children will do it with emphasis. My daughter will even do it with emphasis. Daddy, we agree that this thing is this. So if you want to, let me tell you, when I said that I want to go and do politics, it's not the first thing they will ask me. Daddy, I hope that what you're using to use your politics is your own money. Don't bring us into it. We are not part of it. So I don't go and decide declaring things that does not belong to you. You declare things. The purpose of assets declared is to declare, and most of the assets that are declared have been declared somewhere. So you can't declare a company. For example, I own shares in a bank with my name. I declared it. I didn't declare the one, say, Next International owes, because I've already declared my interest in Next International. It will amount to double declaration.
Well, except that, someone would say in the assets declaration form, you're also required to state the assets, that you jointly own, either with your spouse or, that belong to your children. But the question has been that when you set up a trust or a company overseas, do you agree with those who have been alleging that this is strictly for the purpose of tax evasion, to avoid tax due to the Nigerian government?
Ruben, I can tell you, I'm a faithful citizen of anywhere I've passed through. I cannot evade tax. It will never happen. Every investment I've done globally is legitimate and pays tax. I just shown a paper and said I live here. If you're a black man in London, you're a suspect. If you're in Nigeria, you're a double suspect. For me to live in the UK, where my bank can write here and say his account has been conducted in an impeccable manner and gives me over $7 million overdraft, Ruben, that's all. I pay my taxes. If I earn anything in the UK, I pay the UK government their tax. I own a property in London. I pay tax. I cannot come and pay property tax in Nigeria for a property I own in the UK. Money I earn here, I pay tax. Don't forget that I was subject to probe of tax about 2 years ago in Anambra State. And I showed evidence that in the past 20 years, I've consistently paid my tax and I've never paid less than 50 million naira annually. So I pay my tax. There's no issue. It's because maybe like they expected when they are talking about $500 million and they think it's about tax. No, the tax are duly paid for investment incomes as expected. I cannot evade tax.
So what about the specific allegation? You've talked about your resignation from Next International. You've talked about your assets declaration. But the specific allegation that you broke the law, that you flouted the provisions of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act and flouted the Constitution by having foreign accounts.
No,
Can you address that?
I didn't. I never did. I didn't break the law. Simple. Everything I did was within the line, and I've told you also the circumstances in which I became governor. Everything I did was within the law, and I've told you the circumstances in which I became governor as well. Notwithstanding, even that there was never a time anybody said to me, Peter, come. The reason why you see election, when you have election, it takes 3 months for swearing in, is to be able to have orientation. Notwithstanding that I never had any orientation, nobody said to me, you have to do this, you have to do this. But by my own commitment to do the right things, I tried to stay within the law. And I can tell you, I was within the law. What you're seeing now is a situation where, we've looked for everything, even we can't find anything against this man, since he's been, since he's going about preaching about saving, preaching about this, let's just throw anything on him. What I was preaching about saving is what I did. I'm always happy when I see Ruben here, because Ruben was part of a government that I participated. The very first day I became governor, the first thing I discussed in my ESCO with my executives is that we must save money. They came up and said, why? I said, listen, as a father, I save money for my children. And they know. So I must save money for the children of Anambra State. Even when I was impeached, go and read my impeachment notice. One of the third point of why I was impeached is saving money without authority of the House. I came back from that impeachment. I said, we must continue saving. As long as I'm here, whenever we receive our FAC allocation, the first thing we do is remove money for pension, remove money for gratuity, remove saving, pay salary, then the rest we can work with. If you don't do it, I'm not part of it. And this you can see everywhere. If you go to Ngozi Wala's book, which you can see, page 61, he showed it there that all the governors, all of us were in a meeting, refused when he was talking about saving. And he said that only Peter Obi, who argued for saving, was shouted down by his colleagues. It was only Lele Moke that supported me. If you call Sheguna Aganga, when he was doing sovereign wealth fund, he would tell you, he's in his own notes, that only Peter Obi who supported sovereign wealth fund to be set up and savings. If I have opportunity of being part of Nigeria at the helm, the first law I will take, the first executive bill I will take to the House is that Nigeria must save money. We must have at least 5 to 10% of our resources from oil, from mineral resources, from natural resources, saved for future generation. Because the expiring assets, every country is doing savings. That's why we have a problem because we don't save. You must save money. You must bequeath your children a better place than you found it. And that includes saving for them. I save for my family, and they know. Okay.
So, just confirm for me again, as way of housekeeping, the $500 million is a phantom amount.
No, I said
if you have 1/3 of that, like you said.
No, I didn't say 1/3. I said if you go there and find more than 3%, about 3%, which is about $15 million.
Okay.
If I bequeath my children $500 million, I've cost them.
Okay.
There's money you bequeath people, you cost them.
Okay.
You bequeath them what is manageable and everything, so they can start their life.
Okay, so $15 million.
I said, if you have something, if you see anything more than that, confiscate what I have overseas and locally here.
Okay.
Wait till I want to explain for this thing again. Wait till I want to explain. All this one I don't hear now. Wait till I want to explain inside. Peter Obi know they speak big English like FFK or Keyamo. You know they speak big English. Now simple English. Now they hear me. The essence of communication, I say, if you talk, people go understand you. Him talk simple English where everybody go understand, even a layman, even person who get passing seas, you go understand them. So, what do you have against him? What? He even came with some evidence. See my card, see this document, see this one. You fit invite Tinubu, make him come, answer question, they show you evidence. Peter Obi is a rich man, a wealthy man with enterprise. Tinubu is a wealthy man without enterprise. Maybe now why him they shy away from Arise TV? Make him come now, maybe they ask him, what is the source of your wealth? Wait if you answer. How you make your money? You never feel answer, and why they run away from Arise TV? Now why myself I no value that they are TVC? Because I ain't get them. TVC. I know they watch them. Because everything waiting for them, they are all biased. What you expect from them? Say Tinubu get TVC. A politician will win when they say now president elect, now you get TVC. What do you expect to hear from that place or from that side? You don't hear anything positive now. So now don't see as Peter Obi take clear himself. Make others, if you short for them, may they come clear themselves. As Peter Obi take clear himself. If this ain't happen before presidential election, may they come clear themselves. Rubbish. I go see you later, my people. I beg. If you like this update, subscribe to my channel. I beg. Because Ejo da Allah. Subscribe.